How do you find the volume of a cone? This is the first video for section 11-5 out of your textbooks. And by the end of the video, you'll be able to answer the question, how do you find the volume of a cone? Here's a reminder of how your notes should be set up to take notes from this video. Remember the video in class that we watched where we saw a cone being filled with with liquid, and it took 3 cones to fill up a cylinder? Well, the contents of 3 cylindrical cups or cones exactly fill a cylinder of the same radius and height. So it takes 3 of these cones to fill up this cylinder here. And we saw a video of that in class. A cone is a 3-dimensional solid with a circular base and a curved surface that gradually narrows to a vertex. So here are 3 cones that would be the same, give the same volume as 1 cylinder. Therefore, the volume of a cone is 1/3 the volume of a cylinder, and the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared multiplied by the height. So we'll take 1/3 of that number, and that will give us the volume of a cone. This idea of 3 cones equaling 1 cylinder helps us to derive the volume formula. Okay, here are 2 examples for this one example. Let's find the volume of a cylinder with radius of 1 and a height of 2. And we'll find the volume of a cone with the same radius of 1 and the same height of 2. So notice that they have the same height, which is 2 and 2, and then they have the same radius, which is 1 and 1. So our volume of a cone will be 1/3 the volume of a cylinder. Let's find the volume of the cylinder. It's the area of the base times height. The area of the base is a circle, so it's pi r squared times height. And if we do that in our calculator, we would get 6.28 meters cubed. Now, volume of the cone with the same height and radius, we'll take 1/3 of that number, and it will give us 209 meters cubed. And now we have the volume of our cone. Let's take a look at another example. Okay, here is another cone. They are giving us the height, which is 13. And they gave us the radius of this cone as x. They didn't give us an actual number, they just gave us a variable, which is okay. So we're going to be able to, we're actually supposed to be working backwards on this problem. They gave us the volume of 2,614 feet cubed. So we're given the volume, but we're not given the radius, and we're going to use the volume to help us get the radius. So the volume is 2,614 that we plugged in. We have 1/3, our pi r squared is x squared, so we put that here, and our height is 13. Then we take 1/3 of, then we're going to multiply both sides by 3. So multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of this 3 here. This 3 goes away. And now I have 7,842 equals 13 pi x squared. Divide both sides by 13 pi. And now you'll get x squared equals 192. And you'll square root both sides to get x alone. And now x equals 13.86. So the radius of the cone is 13.86. For this example, we had to work backwards. We had to take the actual volume of the cone, and then we had to use that to help us solve for the radius, just using the formula for volume of a cone. Let's go and review what we just learned. You found out how 3 cones would fill up a cylinder if they were given the same base and, same radius and same height. Then you also had to find the volume of a cone. We did an example of finding the volume of a cone. Afterwards, we used the volume to help us solve for the radius, and you can even still do the same thing if you need to solve for the height. So now that you've seen the 2 examples, I'd like you to answer this question. How do you find the volume of a cone? Go ahead and respond to that question within your summary and bring any questions you have in the class. And don't forget that the second video, how do you find the volume of a pyramid, is due as well with these notes. And there is a surprise in the video, so make sure you watch that and create your notes.